So Martin, just looking now at the facility management world and working on a university campus and coming through and out the other side of the COVID restrictions. One of the challenges I'm facing as the head of estates on campus is what I see as the reintroduction of students and all our staff back onto campus, and to literally reintroduce them back into campus life and the campus workplace and the teaching space, and holding their confidence. We've got the areas ready to receive them, and we've maintained health and safety and all the other demands. And just wondered, what your thoughts are on supporting us in that whole campus preparation.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. I mean, for us, they are real challenges that we appreciate are happening. The psychological kind of impact of the COVID virus on people's normal day-to-day lives. And we're seeing it up and down the country, not just in higher education environments, but in all sectors where people interact with the facilities and equipment. Yeah, we have learned a huge amount during the pandemic, how to adapt, how to adopt, the way we work, the service we provide, the investments we make for the future. And as you know, FM is about real people delivering real services, to real customers around the campuses in the UK. But I think we need some help. I think we now need some help from technology, and we need some help from science. And I think this is where we will see the biggest changes and impacts in the future, to give the reassurances that you're looking for. Yeah, for you, your colleagues, your students, your visitors. And I think there are so many organisations, like Mighty, that can assist. Now, whether that's providing, the mass lateral flow testing, we've picked up a lot of experience around the country with the test and trace centres, whether that's using technology and chemicals for cleaning like Citrox, or it's UV disinfectant systems, or advanced space utilisation. I mean, there's absolutely loads. I have to say things like Citrox, absolutely brilliant. It creates a biofilm that stops the virus actually being absorbed onto surfaces. It kills them on contact, and it protects those surfaces for another 6 months. And we're using it up and down the country in hospitals and office environments. And I think it would be great in the university setting. And then you've got clever things like the UV air distribution systems, like the ones that Luxabel are now installing around the country with us. Highly effective, again, for killing airborne and waterborne pathogens. Can be easily fitted into ceiling grids, not expensive, and can be used during lectures to improve the air quality, but also in between lectures or indeed meetings in meeting rooms. So that's great. Touchless systems, the advancement in touchless systems, whether that's, for the bin, the door, the toilet, the light, they're out there. If you're not coming in contact with the surfaces, then you're less likely to have problems. And again, health and safety has never, ever been so high on the general public's agenda and personal agendas. We're not going to see that subside in any way, shape or form in the future. And I think, we need to be really aware of our statutory obligations. And one way to ensure that we do that is to have and implement and again embrace modern CAFM systems. You can things like Maximo or Concept, where you can make sure that you have planned, you have implemented, and you have recorded all of those elements that are important for, again, well-being, health and safety. Introductions like live reporting, chat boxes, making sure that you've got live interaction between customers. All of that will give them that confidence to return, I think, to the campus.
Yeah, thanks. So just picking up on the technology, you used the word courage. It does take a bit of courage. I've heard a lot of it before, and the technology has never really arrived, never really got established. What will make the difference this time? Why do you think it's because actually we've embraced a lot of technology in this last year of COVID, and therefore that leap of faith is probably a little bit of a less of a leap?
Yeah, I think we have embraced it. I do think the university sector needs to be braver, needs to follow the lead that we are experiencing with our blue chip private sector customers, who are really getting behind the pursuit of continual excellence. I have to say, Robert, it does surprise me that in a university world that's all about innovation and initiative and new ways of thinking, and research that actually there's not that much in terms of the FM aspects. True ways of motivating disruptions to the normal. I often reflect on it and wonder actually whether you should get your undergraduates to write your specifications for your FM services, in the future. But I wonder, it's not just about embracing technology for technology's sake. You are constantly been asked for higher standards of service. At the same time, when competition is increasing, the strains on your own finances to continue to invest in your facilities and services and ways of teaching are really critical. So, you need to find ways to reduce your costs. And I think for me, I wonder if there should be more of a focus on, or certainly away from input specifications in terms of frequencies of cleaning or maintenance or security patrols, actually towards more demand-led approaches. There seems to be a comfort that customers and clients have with inputs, that gives you some vague value for money measure, but actually I'm not necessarily convinced that it is. And I think there are things that we can introduce actually that will give you not only better value, but better service as well. Things like the use of building occupancy sensors, BMS systems, remote monitoring, all of those sorts of things, potentially lower cost, better service. Look, I'm not saying that we should be moving away from humans. I said earlier, real services, real people. But I think there is an opportunity with the introduction of robotics and those sorts of things in areas where it's more pre-programmable services, like some cleaning, like some grounds maintenance. Some of those where actually we can bring in to greater effect kind of automation. You've got tracking systems. I mean, we work in a lot of hospitals, and our porters have tracking systems and live interactions with the customers and the nurses and the matrons. So why aren't we using that in a higher education setting? Tracking systems like Navinio, absolutely brilliant. Again, technology being used for better service and actually will make you more efficient, and that's important for the customers. And the customers as well for us. It's changing. It's a changing world. Your customers as the director of estates might be the students, but actually you've got the long-term workforce, your colleagues that we need to look after. And we're spending a lot of time working with our customers in terms of those interaction points, that journey that the people that come into contact with facilities and assets enjoy going forwards. And again, that's more important. Reduction in overseas students, hopefully only temporarily, but you have got to be competitive as a university, and that experience is really important for everybody. And digitalization, Robert, let's not avoid that. We're doing it now. This is a digital kind of an interview process here. We have got to embrace that. We need to assess how well it's working. What's the true impact on people's learning and working and the psychological state? But let's embrace that for the greater good to see where we can go. Again, I think potentially leading to better service and a reduced cost.
You mentioned cost and value for money, and I would like to just pick up on that because, again, coming out of this year, we're going to have to really take stock at the university of our size and shape and start looking at the ways that we in the estates and the facility management group can contribute to significant, more cost-effective ways of delivering the facility management, the estate services, and optimizing our assets and looking at all that utilization more effectively across the university. How will you, as the FM facility management provider supporting me, help me in driving cost savings without losing quality of service?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned a few already today, but I think perhaps if we reflect on decarbonisation, it's a huge agenda item for the government and then therefore for us as citizens and employers. I think that's an area that we can focus more on. Whether that is about renewable energy, green energy. I think in an environment like the University of Sussex, the use of ground source heat pumps, solar power, those sorts of things. You're not quite near enough the sea in Brighton to enjoy tidal power benefits, Robert. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility that could be coming forward in the future. But I think for us, there are lots of opportunities to embrace different ways of working. Let's look at what's happened in manufacturing. Let's look at lean reviews in terms of the processes, back to how those customers interact with the service provider and with your colleagues in the estates team. But I think what what FM providers have to offer is far more than just what you see on the campus. You know, we want to think about future generations. We want to think about the graduates and what happens to them afterwards. We want to make sure they're employable. You know, and I think, you know, in the right way, with the right partnerships, with the right conversations, there is so much that can be provided. You know, there's 80,000 of us in the UK. There are so many opportunities for placements, internships, permanent roles, but also think of the network that we've got beyond our own business. You know, we're working with, you know, literally thousands of customers across the UK, each with their own requirements for talent in the future and new ways of innovation. And I think that's something that we should be doing. So don't just think of us as people on the campus. Look at what we can do for your community. Yep, large commercial organisation, but we're happy to help with SMEs. We give at least a day a year to every employee to go out and do volunteering work in their local community. It's important to us to feel part of the environment where we work and live. Yeah, there's so much, and things like, you know, it's a hot topic now. Waste reduction, food waste reduction. 70% of the food waste in the UK comes out of the home. Think of the number of students, Robert, you've got living on campus at the moment. What are the levels like there? Let's look at active campaigns where we can reduce waste, improve our impact on the you know, the local and natural community as well. I mean, there is so much. There's so much. We could go on forever. Time is against us. But you know, as I think about these things, I wonder if you can tell me where I can find a really good postgraduate FM course. I could write a dissertation on it then.
Well, my last question was about the community, and I think you've covered it really well. So I think thank you. We took 3 really important questions there, and there was a lot of content. So again, great chatting with you, Martin. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Robert.